A question I've got many times is, what's the best way to tune your bike? Well, there are 3 common options, but before we get into that, let's talk about why you would want to tune your bike in the first place. This can be a long rabbit hole and I'm not qualified to go very deep down it, but I do know enough to help most of you out. An engine takes fuel and air, compresses them together, then sparks and it ignites, and that's more or less the combustion process. Every bike has different ratios that are optimal to run the engine at max efficiency. If you have too much air in your bike, then it runs lean. Lean can make the engine run hotter. Now, if you have too much fuel, then your engine runs rich, and that can foul out your plugs. Both conditions are not optimal for performance and can actually harm your engine. However, it's generally agreed on that going too rich is safer than going too lean, because heat will kill an engine quicker than anything else. So going too lean is really bad. Now, since the late 1980s and early 1990s, motorcycle manufacturers, in order to satisfy emission regulations, started shipping out their motorcycles lean. Now, lean may not be great for our engines, as explained earlier, but it is cleaner for the environment, and it is used as a tool to help satisfy emission regulations and to give us better fuel economy. Now, we did mention earlier that running lean is generally bad for the engine, makes it run hotter and can cause damage over time. Luckily, the engineers know this, and the amount they run lean is not that much at all. Definitely not enough to cause damage, so if your bike is stock, it's fine to run the factory tune, even if it is a hair too lean. However, if you tune a stock engine with stock parts, you will see a small increase in power, but it isn't always necessary if you plan on keeping your bike completely stock. Now, what happens is when you decide to change something out, say an exhaust, like a slip-on, you are now making your bike even leaner. Same goes for a high air filter. Now that you've done that, you may want to tune your bike to actually gain performance. Anyone saying they gained power from just a slip-on and no tune is only experiencing a placebo effect due to the increased sound. In fact, it can actually make your bike run worse and give you less power. Usually on most bikes, a slip-on alone will not require a tune to be safe. It's pretty harmless to swap the slip-on and run a factory map, but you are leaving gains on the table. If you do a high flow air filter in addition to the slip-on, or if you do a full exhaust system, then I highly recommend getting a tune, because now you are running way too lean and reliability might start getting affected if you're not careful. If you spend so much money on a full exhaust, spend a little bit more and get your bike tuned. So finally, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. Now, here are some common options on how to tune your bike. The first option is the easiest, and it is to flash your bike's ECU. You can bring your bike to a shop and have them dyno tune it and flash your ECU for you, or if you are mechanically inclined enough, you can actually remove the ECU yourself and send it to a reputable shop and have them flash it to you for you. You just tell them the mods you have, and they will usually have maps that will run your bike about 90 to 95% optimal. And I'll explain in a minute why that's not 100%. Flashes also have other advantages as well. For instance, you can remove speed limiters, have the fans kick on sooner, and unlock many other features on your bike, all from a quick ECU flash. Usually these can be done for around $300, but some bikes can be as high as $1,000, so you may need to do some research. But this is your ECU, so remember that any warranty you have will be completely voided out the second you flash it. Also, please guys, go to a reputable place. ECUs are expensive, you don't want it to get damaged or stolen. Our next option is to install a piggyback fuel controller. There are a few different brands out there, but by far the most popular one and the one I personally use is the Power Commander. A Power Commander is usually a more involved process than simply removing the ECU, but of course it's different for every bike. Most Power Commanders are completely plug and play. And once you install the Power Commander, you can plug your computer into it and run your own map. DynoJet actually has verified maps on their site that you can use that will be safe. You can also get a map from somebody online, but be careful doing this. A bad tune can actually damage your bike, so know who you're getting this file from. The best way to tune your bike is always a dyno tune though. The reason why a generic flash is only 90 to 95% optimal is because there are so many different parameters from bike to bike that will make the tune vary. Your environment is a huge factor. How close you are to sea level will greatly affect your tune. A bike might run perfect at sea level here in Massachusetts, but you take that same exact bike with the same tune to Colorado and it will not run as efficiently. So a Dyno Tune takes your bike with your environment and tunes it perfectly to that. However, things like the weather change, humidity levels, temperature levels, etc. all change. And because of that, DynoJet made an attachment for the Power Commander called the Auto Tune. What the Auto Tune does is it adds a wideband O2 sensor to make adjustments on the fly. If it reads that the bike is running slightly lean because you are up in a mountain, let's say, then the bike will make micro adjustments to the ratio in order to keep it at that prime level so your bike is running perfect. So the absolute best way to get the perfect tune is to get a Power Commander and an Auto Tune, bring it to a dyno, have it adjusted to make the perfect amount of power, and then have the Auto Tune adjust the fuel tables to keep those numbers accurate. After you set the Auto Tune to keep the bike in that range, you will have the best running bike in all situations despite elevation changes, temperature changes, etc. However, flashes are becoming the most common and generally the easiest. You take out your old ECU, ship it to a tuner, he flashes it and sends it back to you, and your bike will run fantastic. One issue with this though is that if you ever want to change your exhaust or air filter or add some other mod, then you may need to get your bike reflashed again, which can kind of be expensive and annoying. So anyway, with all that said, you guys now know why you might need a tune and how you can get one. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask and I'll do my best to try to answer all of them. I'm by far no expert, but I do have 6 motorcycles and 3 of them do have fuel controllers, so I do have some experience. I've had my VFR dyno tuned and I even installed my 600 with an Auto Tune, so I do have experience with both of these methods. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Take care and bye-bye.
Sick news, pull your little arrows out. Let me live my life, the one I'd better lead. All the blondes of fantasies, and we looked at them 11 ways. You said, look at me, and looked away, and you wrote the song I wanna play. Alright.